There is a huge lie that millions of Suits fans have believed, and that is that Harvey Specter is the ultimate model of the strong, smart, and unstoppable man. Everyone sees the charisma, the luxury suits, and the smashing legal victories. But if we put emotions aside and look at the actual facts that the show clearly presented, we will discover a very different and shocking reality for many. In my opinion, Harvey's character is one of the most fragile and flawed in drama history. And what we see as pride and strength is in reality a very primitive defense mechanism built by a broken child to protect himself from the world. Today we are going to break down this myth and reveal the true psychology of Harvey Specter. Let's be honest, every piece in Harvey's appearance is a message of fear. The luxury suits, the New York apartment, and the expensive watches are not just luxuries. They are a war armor that Harvey wears to isolate himself from the world. His famous line, "Play the man, don't play the case," is a tacit admission that he doesn't trust his ability to win by the law, but rather trusts his ability to intimidate the opponent and read their weak points. This external narcissistic appearance is, in my opinion, a way to protect his inner fragility. Harvey is terrified of appearing weak or helpless to anyone. Compare him to Louis Litt. Louis expresses his feelings, gets angry, cries, and makes mistakes clearly. Louis is a real and honest person with himself. As for Harvey, he created for himself the image of the machine that doesn't make mistakes. The question here is the person who hides behind his appearance and harshness really the strongest, or the person who has the courage to be a real human and face their flaws? The most controversial point in the show is his hiring of Mike Ross. The prevailing narrative says that Harvey risked his career to give a talented young man a chance. But was this really a sacrifice? In my opinion, the decision to hire Mike was a purely selfish and reckless act, driven by Harvey's excessive ego. He didn't hire Mike out of the kindness of his heart. He hired him because he saw him as a young version of himself, and because he wanted to prove to himself and to Jessica Pearson that he could break the holiest rules of the profession and still succeed. Harvey didn't just risk his career, but rather risked Mike's future and freedom and placed his entire company under the threat of criminal prosecution and destruction just to satisfy his desire for challenge and prove his superiority over the system. This act doesn't reflect nobility, but rather reflects a massive disregard for consequences in exchange for an inflated ego. But there is no machine that can work under this pressure forever. In later seasons, we saw the side that no one expected. Harvey Specter falls victim to panic attacks. This wasn't just a dramatic event, it was a confirmation of our theory. The moment Donna left him, the iron wall collapsed. Why? Because her departure awakened his old abandonment and betrayal complex caused by his mother. The truth is that Harvey's pride and strength were entirely based on the existence of a safety net represented by Donna and Jessica, who were correcting his mistakes and protecting him from the consequences of his recklessness. The panic attacks were the way his body and mind announced their exhaustion from playing the role of Superman. The truth is that Harvey Specter, without the emotional and professional support of the women in his life, is a very fragile character and vulnerable to collapse. In the end, Harvey Specter is the story of a human who turned his old pain and wound into smashing professional success. But he paid for it a very high price from his psychological comfort and lived his life in a constant escape behind the mask of pride. This is my critical opinion based on the show's events. And now, the ball is in your court. Share with me in the comments. Do you agree with this analysis? Do you see that Harvey's pride was an advantage that made his success, or a curse that destroyed his personal life? Write me your opinions. Remember to press the like button if this analysis provoked or pleased you, and subscribe to the channel because the next video will be about Mike Ross, and we will analyze his truth as well. See you in the comments.